I pull up in the ladder, me elements in a Prada, yeah. Couple brand new others, all of them fully don't matter, no. 0 to 102, then you saw me flex on you. All up in my section, you, I accept on you. Then I get a text come through, so I show you what my legs can do. Sweet melody, wind up your body for me. You love it, baby, girl, you know me need it, need it. Let me fight for it, me achieve it, need it. Sweet melody, wind up your body for me. You love it, baby, girl, you know me need it, need it. Let me fight for it, me achieve it. I pull up to the body, yeah, I know I should body for me achieve it.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
A dick in it, you don't even know what you're saying.
And that's pretty much how I wanted to start off this video, because I am sick and tired of hearing people continue to disrespect the therapists that have doctors out at the title of their names. And now we're hearing that Dr. Umar has gotten into the middle of it. So it's like this: when y'all want us to hold women accountable, it's a problem. So maybe we should just stop holding women accountable, because it's something that y'all don't even want to see. That you would rather defend what's going on than let her be held accountable for using fake credentials. Dr. Umar spoke on this situation, and I guess he forgot that he had actually made a comment like a year ago that he didn't even care for this lady. But we're going to move on and show the videos just to backtrack on these stories.
The good Dr. Umar Johnson was saying.
I believe that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is quite possibly the same personality type as Nick Cannon and Cam Newton. I believe that all three of you are serial monogamists with narcissistic tendencies.
So to address the first question, which was, do I believe that I have some narcissistic traits in my low functioning behavior? Absolutely. For me to be able to emasculate that man, and he's just loving on me, he's never disempowered me. This man wasn't cheating or beating on me. He was there all day.
Do you struggle with the same things that I struggle with? Self-importance.
Not at this level. Do I have a high level of self-love and self-value? Yes. Can my confidence be on steroids sometimes because that's the way I inspire me? Yeah. Does my self-talk show up externally sometimes? Yeah. Is my self-talk narcissistic? Abso-fucking-lutely.
If it was so important that who you are as a person to yourself, then you would understand that someone that has doctor at the beginning of their name, that have the accredited hours in pertaining their degree, and a person would not have an issue. They would be all too proud to show you their degree and tell you the story about how they worked hard through their blood, their sweat, and their tears to now be able to represent the thing that was important to them to help the community. And then I remember you saying also that you were here to do it for God and not for the people. But you depend on those same people as well as those people's pockets to get you by and help you sell your books, because God is not going to buy your book, sweetheart. And y'all need to quit putting God in all your drama issues. And when you want to lie, thinking that he's going to covet you in a lie, because that is one of the sins that he's not going to do. Using his name in vain is not going to protect you from being a liar. If anything is going to cause karma like it is right now. So I'm going to show you this video of Dr. Umar accusing Black women of being jealous when he himself had just did this in the video I just showed Nick Cannon, where he didn't believe who she was and called her out as a narcissist.
Approximately 2 years ago. I have followed her here and there. She is a stunningly beautiful woman. And she also claims to have her doctorate in psychology. She claims that she went to Argosy University. And I'm not doubting nothing she says because I have no reason to. The school closed down. She has some issues with the transcript, the degree, whatever the case may be. She has a book out now. It's a best-selling book, Art, and it's doing very well. She's been interviewed. She's been on Shannon Sharp. She's been on Nick Cannon. She's been on Cam Newton. She's been...
So these men are the ones, the podcasters and the YouTubers that thrust her forward from inviting her on their shows, but knew that there was accountability coming. They doubted her and her credentials before any woman ever stepped on the scene. And they called it out before anybody ever really noticed or knew who Cheyenne Bryant was. So she interviewed on all the male shows, no women shows until after the fact concerning her credentials and why she refuses to verify or show any proof that she is who she is. She has a video, and I'm going to show you the video again. When she first came out, she was a spiritual life coach. And she should have stuck to that because it probably was the honest that she had ever been. And she decided to put doctor on the front of her name because she felt like that wasn't enough to thrust her forward. And she uses her sexuality on every man's show she has been on to gain a visual draw in from the men. They see it, they know it. The smart ones do anyway, but women definitely know it. The way she moves on these shows, the things she does that are suggestive, that shows how she is selling herself to sell a product.
On Joe Budden, right? She's a big name amongst the sisters. She goes on the Breakfast Club. And they ask her about her degrees, and she explains about what happened with the school. I don't know the details. I don't care. People start to roast her and attack her, claiming she's fraud. She then goes on Joe Budden. Shout out to them. I didn't see the interview, Art, but allegedly they say Joe Budden and them asked her some really good questions that left more unanswered than answered.
She went on Joe Budden's podcast, but you're not calling them jealous or hating on her. They tried to catch her up in a lie. She didn't go on any women's shows at this point. And had she done it, she would have definitely been caught in a lie because we would have been able to recognize it. But because she knows how to come on a man's show with the right attitude, the right word salad, the right body language, you missed it.
Past 2 weeks, Art, she has been the butt of everybody's internet joke. Here's what I'm going to say. And other doctors of psychology don't agree. Cheyenne Bryant having or not having a doctorate does nothing to my doctorate, Art. It does nothing to my career. It does nothing to my profession. I don't have a need to investigate her.
First of all, understand this. It doesn't have to do anything to you. It does something to people that depend on her mentally. that she has to counsel, people that could be idle, and people that could be deranged and on the edge of doing something. They depend on her. And if you were a real doctor that understood that, then you wouldn't have worded that like that. Real people with real situations that are at a dire mindset to where they could hurt themselves or others that could use or may use her counseling under the wrong guise or direction, this could hurt those clients. It has nothing to do with you because you're not her client. You don't pay for her services. The people that she said that she didn't need because she had God, but needs them for financial gain and worth, those are who the clinicians, the real doctors and the therapists and the psychologists, those are the individuals that they are talking about, because they take their lives they take their lives seriously because they know this isn't a good situation. When she counseled Ray J, he didn't leave better than he was. When she counseled Nick Cannon, he's not doing any better than he was before she met him. Neither is Simone. And a TV counseling shop is not counseling.
Need to slander her, to belittle her, to malign her, to assault her. I don't have no need to do anything against that Black woman because she hasn't hurt anybody. She is a life coach, Art, and you don't have to be certified or have a doctorate or a license to be a life coach. She ain't misdiagnosed nobody. She ain't done no clinical work without a license. I haven't seen any wrongdoing from Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. So what do I think is going on here, Art? I believe that Black women, I'm going to call the kettle black. Some men too, but mostly Black women are attacking her out of jealousy. They are jealous of her looks. They are jealous of her life coaching career. They are jealous of her podcast success. They wish they were in her position. And because they are not, they are trying to destroy that woman. Period, point blank in the story. I've told you before, Art, that Black men have a problem with each other, right? We got an ego problem.
And so you coming in causing drama, trying to stir the pot between women. And now it is indeed looking like a colorist thing, because you at the 140 mark on this video was only concentrated on how beautiful she was, and then went into this long monologue of unimportance, ignoring the clients over saying that it doesn't affect you, then blaming women for holding another woman accountable, even though that's what y'all say we don't do. And when we do, we're jealous. Okay, hands off. Y'all can deal with her then. She can work with the men. And then when something happens with you or to you, we don't want to hear it, because at every turn and every light, you all always punch down on the situation. When you ask us to step in, then you want to take over and make it a negative situation that it wasn't. This is based on someone lying and refusing to show her credentials and saying that she was something that she was not. Nobody's jealous of her.
I think Black women's problem with each other exceeds Black men's problem with each other. What they are doing to
Well, that's a lie. How does it exceed that when y'all unalive each other almost at the going rate that you unalive the women in your community? Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
The Cheyenne Bryant is absolutely unacceptable, Art. They are destroying this woman more than Donald Trump. They are destroying this woman more than Candace Owens.
Those are people that don't care about the Black community, sir. They don't give a damn about what we are going through or experiencing. They have already so far taken away a couple of states' voting rights. So to bring up those two names that have a lot to do with the problems of the world is diabolical, and you are missing the point at every avenue. I see why the school didn't work out, because God forbid if kids had to hear this language and try to make sense of it.
Destroying this woman more than Erica Kirk. They destroying this woman more than the police officers who killed Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, Sonia Bland, Sonia Mancy, Amir Locke, you name it, Art. The enemies of African people have not received the type of vitriol.
Why would he bring in racists having to do with the issues inside of the Black community? Once again, Dr. Umar, they cannot help you, neither do they want to help you. If anything, they would like to help this situation be even more worse than what it is, and hope that in some way that we all off each other so they don't have to worry about us anymore. So bringing them up like you're trying to make a rooster call for them to react, they're not gonna. Quit waiting on a seat at that man's table when he is not ever going to let you sit across from him at that table.
That Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is receiving. If y'all want to expose it and be done with it. Everybody has heard the story, Art, but guess what? They going around and around and around with this, Art. And the reason I can speak to this so well, what did Roland Martin try to do to me 11 years ago? He tried to say I didn't have my degrees and brought me on his show and tried to get his panel of to embarrass me because he thought I didn't have my degrees.
Well, that's what is called betting you. He was making sure that you indeed then, and he was holding you accountable like he should have, which is what the women are doing. And so it's like you're saying, are you getting upset because there are people that will call other people out if they don't seem like they are who they claim to be? He did what he was supposed to do as a man. There was a man confront another man vetting you. He got what he wanted. They probably moved on from there. Your feelings are obviously still hurt because of this. So while you telling us to let it go and move on, maybe you should let the Roland Martin situation go and move on also.
Other people have tried to say I didn't have my degrees, Art, and guess what? It got so bad. I had to give my college permission to tell people that I graduated from it. Art, they were getting so many phone calls after that Roland Martin lynching that he tried to have, and instead he got lynched with his panel of cops. They called me up from the registrar's office, Art, and they said, Dr. Umar, these are the good white people from your graduating institution.
Oh, wow.
We are getting bombarded with phone calls as to whether you graduated from here or not, and what.
I'm going to always remember that you said that. These are the good white people from that constitution, that institution that you graduated from. Yet your colleagues didn't speak for you. They just called you to release a form. Okay.
Your degree is. Do you give us permission to let people know you graduated from here and what your degree is? I said yes. And guess what, Art? Even though people could call.
Just admit you called them and told them that they could release information about you if people were looking in on you.
The only reason why I'm not saying the college.
If that's what happened, allegedly.
his name, Art, because I don't want them to get bombarded tomorrow. You feel me? Even though people could call them and verify my degree, not online, traditional, in-person, American Psychological Association accredited doctoral program founded by one of the fathers of white cognitive psychology, I gave them permission to call and verify my credentials. And guess what, Art? You still got niggas out here today who will tell you I don't have a doctorate.
Well, even when you Google even thinks that you don't have one. So hey, it's not us. Google themselves even say that you portray yourself as something that you're not. So no one really cares. And if they really care, your colleagues at this school and around you, the white men that you claim that, you know, your friends, then why didn't they help you with the school? What happened with the school?
They done found my dissertation online. They done found my transcripts online. They done found my graduation pictures. And my degree will hang up in my Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy office. You feel me, Art? My degree will be hanging up once I got an office to put it in. But the reason I'm bringing this up, Art, was happening to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. It's not happening because she has a doctorate or don't have a doctorate. It didn't happen to me because I had a doctorate or didn't have a doctorate. It happened to me because I'm the biggest name in the world in Black consciousness. I'm the biggest name in the world in Pan-Africanism. I'm the most requested Black scholar in the world. I'm the most influential school psychologist in history. I'm the most requested university guest lecturer of the African race of all time. That's why it's happening to me. Nothing to do with my credentials. Nothing to do with my credentials. And just like with me, who has a real doctorate, whether she does or not, this is not happening to Cheyenne Bryant because she does or doesn't have a doctorate. This is happening to Cheyenne Bryant because women are jealous of her. Period. Point blank. End of story.
He's turning this into a thing about being pretty, the pretty privilege everybody has talked about. The men mainly keep bringing up because, like I say, they're the ones that thrusted her forward into the limelight. And instead of him intervening and not intervening, let's just say, as much as y'all always want us to hold women accountable, you're turning it into a thing where it almost gives the tone of colorism and somebody being pretty, and women are jealous and saying all this because of who she is when we've been seeing who she is. So what's so different now? Moving on.
Is alive and well, and it's just so unfortunate how you guys have succeeded in hijacking this conversation and also changing the trajectory of this conversation and reducing the conversation to a conversation of hate. I don't understand where this whole thing of people that are demanding accountability is hating on Cheyenne Bryant because of her looks, when the questioning of her integrity came into play because she decided to stay on the podcast that she is not a licensed therapist, and she has been cosplaying as a therapist for years. Now, her not being a licensed therapist wasn't the concern. It was the reason as to why she stated she wasn't a licensed therapist. So people that are licensed therapists was like, pump your brakes. You are doing more harm than good because you are spreading harmful misinformation. And that's exactly why Dr. Raquel Martin took time out of her day to make a video and explain in detail, and you guys still found a way, just because that lady is brown skinned, still found a way in changing the narrative to her and other therapists and other women that are demanding accountability to hating on a liar, a scammer, and a grifter. I don't know how you guys do it, but you guys do it all the time, and it is such a shame. But let me tell you something about Cheyenne Bryant. She's been doing this for years, and she's a puppeteer, and she knows exactly what she's doing. That's exactly why when it was stacked against her, the odds were stacked against her, and she saw that, okay, people were closing in on her, she reposted this on her story because she knew that for the weak-minded, she can succeed in changing the trajectory of the conversation, and you guys truly fell for it. You see, the thing is that y'all don't really care. You guys don't care about the Black community. You don't care about mental health, because if you did, this is a very big subject. But because of the color of her skin and because she's such a pretty lady, you guys are going to let her get away with doing things that are harmful. She should have access to her degree. She should have access to her doctorate. And what the public is saying, listen, you are not a licensed therapist. Show us your PhD. If you want us to refer to you as Dr. Bryant, not the trademark, that's a whole different conversation. But if you want us to refer to you, a person, as Dr. Bryant, just show us your PhD that you worked so hard for. And it's just so unfortunate. And I want you guys to know, when you guys do this, it is very disrespectful to dark-skinned women, very disrespectful to brown-skinned women, very disrespectful to educated women, especially the women that are in this field, and they are telling you why what she said is incorrect and harmful. You guys have reduced their narrative, and you guys have made them look like haters because y'all can't see beyond beauty. Y'all don't have critical thinking skills. It's a disgrace, honestly.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
Now, one point did she mention that she was a life coach, doctor, psychiatrist.
You want to hear it again?
So
Slow motion. I
I've
slowed
been
it
in
for you.
private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
All my work doesn't need a
And so in this next video, see, I'm just showing you how she uses her body language, how she dresses to make the male guest focus in on not just what she's saying, but how she is looking, how she's dressed. I want you all to see that and see why some men don't pay attention and how something can be glazed over them.
husband who's God sending to me after all my work doesn't need to fit a box. He needs to come authentically who he is. And my job is to love him where he is, how he is, and pray on the ways that I don't understand, because I'm not supposed to lean onto my own understanding. I'm supposed to trust God in all his ways. And she ain't real, y'all. She ain't real.
Look at collecting the dough, the money she's collecting.
Isn't it time for a commercial?
Why it's so important to ask people about their credentialing. 3 quick points. The first point is that why would she lie, right? Honestly, it's because if you call yourself a doctor of any kind, you therefore have access to spaces, places, and people you otherwise would not have access to because your level of training. And so she leaned in on this fake doctor title in order to access those things without the hard work associated with it. Which brings me to number 2, which is self-gain. If you're a doctor, you typically care about serving others more than self-service. So to do all of this under the deceit of lies and deception and delusion was a huge red flag. And last but not least, Black people within the healthcare space and the mental health space have dealt with so much systemic racism, and that has impacted access. So when people found someone they thought they could align themselves with, only to find out she was a liar, further erodes the trust that we're trying to build.
A license.
Right
now I'm in private practice, I'm saying. And that's what people don't understand, right? So just to educate some folks a little bit.
Hello, my name is Dr. Raquel Martin. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, professor of sciences, and podcast host.
And I apologize so much for not showing this beautiful lady's Dr. Raquel Martin's video on the last video, but I'm definitely going to show it now to hear her let us know why what she's doing and using her credentials and counseling people on a serious matter, but not being a life coach about it, is dangerous. And I just wanted like the real therapist to step forward and speak where we cannot speak. They can formulate the proper words and setting of an event, and they can diagnose it as well.
who specializes in Black health and well-being, and I want to break down a clip from the Joe Budden podcast featuring someone who presents herself as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. But before we dive in, I want to make something incredibly clear. Having a doctorate does not mean someone is a licensed mental health professional. You can have a doctorate in literature and be unlicensed, and you are still a doctor. You can have a doctorate in education and hold an LPC, being a licensed professional counselor, and you are a licensed mental health professional, and you are still a doctor, but your doctorate is not in psychology. When evaluating anyone's credentials, it's really critical to look at two things: what their doctorate is actually in, and whether they hold a relevant clinical license. In this case, the person you're about to hear from is unlicensed. I'm going to break down why that matters and why this particular message is harmful, especially to the Black community that she claims to be serving and that I actually serve.
A license is really only needed so you can bill insurance.
That is incredibly misleading. Yes, you do need a license to bill insurance, but that is not why licensure exists. Licensure protects you. It means I have completed specific education and supervised clinical hours, passed rigorous exams, and I'm accountable to a regulatory board. If I breach confidentiality, if I cross ethical boundaries or harm you, you have somewhere to file a complaint and be sure that I'm held accountable. A license is not paperwork just for billing. It's a consumer protection. When someone drops or loses or no longer has a license, they're not solely avoiding the insurance hassle. They're also removing your recourse if something goes terribly wrong.
Not binded by BBS, the behavior board science rules and regulations and ethics. And so it just opened up a whole nother, floor in industry for me.
And she's also saying this like it's a good thing. I want to state something really important. Ethics codes exist to protect you from exploitation and boundary violation and providers practicing outside of their competence. When someone celebrates being free from ethical oversight, I want you to think of that as a red flag, a flashing one. It's a warning sign because those rules exist because real harm happens when they're not in place. So celebrating that you don't have to be accountable to that should be concerning to you.
As a therapist, two things: you can obviously make what you deserve because therapy is real. We're giving everything we have in there, and we're unpacking shit, and we're helping you process through things. So it's not us sitting there with you're an effective therapist saying, "Tell me more." You should be unpacking, and you should be able to take somebody and drive with them to their goal.
And here's another thing. She keeps calling herself a therapist, and in most states, that's actually illegal without a license. You cannot legally use the title therapist or provide psychotherapy without licensure. What she's describing now is coaching, and coaching and therapy are fundamentally different. Coaches help with goals and accountability. Therapists are trained to diagnose and treat mental health conditions, trauma and depression and suicidality and psychosis. If someone with untreated bipolar disorder or PTSD thinks they're getting therapy from a coach, they're going to be seriously harmed. These are
This is exactly what I was talking about. Exactly what I was talking about. Somebody like me that suffered from SA situation. And if I have a situation where I am then triggered and it can make you feel suicidal, I need to go to somebody reputable like Miss Dr. Raquel Morton, not Cheyenne Bryant, a life coach. If it came down to a situation like that. And that is why you don't play with situations like that. That is what Dr. Umar did not understand when he said it doesn't hurt him. But like I said, it hurts the people that depend on help when it comes down to a situation that is dire and dangerous to them and anybody around them.
Actual conditions that go undiagnosed and untreated, especially within the Black community.
My clients, the truth is that in order to bill insurance, I have to diagnose you. And you only get about 6 weeks. In order for me to get 6 more weeks approval, guess what?
This frames diagnosis as something imposed on you solely for insurance purposes, and that's backwards. A diagnosis isn't a billing trick. It's clinically meaningful information that guides treatment. And the 6 weeks claim is also not accurate across the board. Now, I'm not saying that we should not be addressing insurance because we need to rise up when it comes to insurance authorizations, like we very much do. That is a different video. But insurance authorizations vary widely by plan, diagnosis, and medical necessity. Many people receive months of years of covered therapy. And she's also making it sound like licensure forces short-term diagnosis-driven care. And that's just simply not how it works as someone who is actually a licensed mental health professional.
Majority of people who know that in order to bill insurance as a therapist or a physician or a psychologist, psychiatrist, you have to diagnose. So what do they rather do? Pay out of pocket.
That's what I
And
do.
so when I realized that, I thought, well, okay, it may create a gap within our community, our Black community, who can't afford health care or afford mental health services.
I hear the concern and the access problem is real.
Girl, if it was about affordability, that's why they would want to use their insurance and not pay out of pocket, because certain insurances take care of it. A lot of insurance right now provide free mental health care. Like right now, I can get it through my insurance. You can get a therapist right now through your insurance. Even if they pay half, somebody's still helping you pay for it. So what is she talking about? Why would they rather pay out of pocket? And it's not because they don't want nobody to know. That is so dumb. When you need help, who cares if they know? At least they know that you are getting help for whatever situation is going on.
Her solution, unregulated, unlicensed coaching, isn't the answer. And there are a wealth of licensed Black therapists, he, she, and they, Black-owned practices, sliding scale clinics, community mental health centers doing this work with their licensure intact, keeping their credentials because their clients deserve protection. The solution to healthcare access gaps isn't removing safeguards. It's expanding access to regulated care. It's providing more scholarships for people like us to get the training necessary. It's more support group. It's actually mutual aid, but it's not what she is stating.
I'm in private practice. I make much more money. It allows me to have more leverage and really be hands-on with my clients. I'm not binded by BBS, the behavior board science of science.
And see, he's worried about women coming against her. The board of mental health are going to come against her. These doctors and these therapists, as well as the health board, are going to come against her once she starts threatening the livelihood of therapists, psychologists, anything under the doctor microscope that deals with mental health. Don't think they're not looking and observing this. Because one thing they don't want to be is blamed for her actions by using doctor, because that's who they are, the community that they are from, that when they got their credentials as well as the hours that were recommended for them to graduate and test under and earn their degrees, those people are not going to want to be financially bound to her because of her mistakes and making the whole situation of being a clinician, a therapist, a sociologist, a psychologist, whatever you want to call it, in the realm of dealing with mental health. They are not going to want the financial burden of her being a liability. Because she is.
Science, rules and regulations and ethics.
And I want to be honest about what's really happening here, because the messaging is awful to me. The pitch to potential clients is, I can give you more personalized care. The pitch to herself is, I make significantly more money and I'm not bound by any kind of oversight. And those are two entirely different things. And when your financial incentive is disconnected from professional accountability, that is a conflict of interest. However, she is not bound by anything when it comes to conflicts of interest, because the only thing that she is bound by is the limits of her own ethics and morality. Look, coaching has real value, and y'all know I hold real coaches down. If you want goal accountability, a coach can help, but coaching is not therapy, and no coach worth their salt will say anything other. If you're dealing with mental health, like anxiety and depression and trauma and these other things, you deserve a licensed mental health professional whose conduct is subject to oversight. And I know it sounds like gatekeeping, but it's truly basic safety. And it's important in communities where access has been denied historically. The answer has never been fewer protections for us as Black.
It should be gatekept. Don't be afraid to say that, because you just can't let anybody come in to that environment of people's mental health and well-being and causing somebody's family grief behind this person acting like they're something that they're not, being a liability, like Cheyenne Bryant is doing. So yeah, you have the right. You all have the right to gatekeep at all costs to your clients to protect them.
People. It has always been more access to regulated, accountable care because we deserve that. And I also want to address that it took me some time to think about doing this video because as a Black woman, it's just been really, really tough for us as Black women. And as someone who states that they advocate for the Black community, he, she, and they create programs for the Black community, is the founder of the largest mental health and education community for Black women in the country. I totally understand where we're at when I'm holding my programs and things of that nature. But I do want you to know that I always state that my Black love is also accountability. And being Black does not mean that when I'm dealing with other Black people, I'm pro-Blackness no matter what you do. That's just never going to be the case. So I don't want you to, I don't want to hear anything about like, oh, this is an attack on a Black woman. It's not solely, it was the aspect of supporting Black people was never about supporting just Black people no matter what they do. It's supporting Black people in love and also having accountability. And these messages are wrong, and they have been wrong, and they have consistently been wrong. And and as someone who has the size of a platform that I have, I think it's important for me to share psychoeducation and information because I understand the significance of it. And I understand the significance of it because I'm actually working in this field. This is a really harmful message. And I do understand that there's this aspect of like things are entertainment, but these things are harming us. And I know they harm us because I'm actually working in the field. I am a doctor who creates content, but I do want to state that when I say the titles in the beginning of my video, I'm actively doing that work. I'm actively conducting research on Black identity development and mental health and well-being of the Black community. I am actively practicing as a licensed clinical psychologist and see patients weekly and have been seeing patients for over a decade. I am actively a professor and working with youth. I am actively a health educator when it comes to training clinicians in cultural humility so that they can serve us better. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of individuals will say it's not that deep or state that it's just entertainment is because one, you think mental health in psychology is just folk wisdom, and it's not, it's a science. And two, you guys are very insulated from the field that you claim to be discussing because you don't work in that field and you haven't in quite some time. But as someone who walks into the offices and sees the clients and goes to the talks and does the community programs, we are struggling. And these little entertainment only pieces that are spreading misinformation, you're doing more harm for the Black community than you know. And the reason why you don't know is because you're so insulated from the Black community. You just sit in front of these mics and you make all these money and you do all these Patreons and you wear these crazy hats and you do all that. But I would actually say I don't see these kind of places as pro-Black. I don't. And the only way you would know that is if you did the work that I do. And you're never going to, because one, you're not qualified. And two, it would break you down. It would break you down every single day. I've never heard so many people saying licenses and degrees didn't matter until more Black people started getting licenses and degrees.
Hey, girl, you just said a word, a toast to that.
Lion versus Dr. Umar. Now, I know this controversy with Dr. Lion. Well, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. All I can say is that you guys give light-skinned people passes all the time. I knew she wasn't no doctor. The internet said she was a doctor. She was on MTV and for the family reunion with those girls that's always pregnant. She is a very pretty girl. She's light-skinned, and you know how you people stereotypical believe everything light-skinned people say. Oh, she also has a book too. She's a life coach.
Oh, she was on Basketball Wives with her mother, and they were all threatening to throw down with the girls on the show, showing indeed their ethics and morals. What else was she on? They also say that she was a video vixen, and they are also alluding to other things. So she is definitely being exposed.
She only date guys who makes more than $50,000 a year. She's in a situationship. She's not married. She's single. Why do people take advice from single people that have no kids? I never understood that. She's a life coach, but barely had life partner. She's 43 years old with no kids. And she was in a situationship for years, so she's just a regular chick. She's light-skinned and she got light eyes, and y'all believe everything she say. She probably gonna have a workout video, and guess what? You're gonna say, oh, she works out. Look at Dr. Bryant. How you know she didn't get surgeries? I'm not saying she did, but I'm just saying y'all believe everything. And all these podcasts, guess what? They believe everything she say. But then again, do they? They want clicks. They all want clicks. Even the pastor, they want clicks. They don't vet. Nobody vets. Nobody looks into it to see if they're lying. They're like the Breakfast Club. Just like how Caesar and DJ Envy was stealing people's houses. That's another story. They don't vet nobody. Nobody vets people. They just want clicks. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants a 9 to 5. That's the problem. Right now, her degree is in question. She hasn't furnished it, or no diploma, no anything. But she said she's a doctor. They can't find a dissertation. She said the school she went to closed down. I had a school that closed down too, but I can still get the records. There is ways to get it. That I know for sure. Even if you move, you're going to take your diploma. If you go anywhere, you're going to take your diploma.
That's her mom right there beside her. If you watch Basketball Wives when she got into it with Brooke Bailey, her mama is just as feisty as she was, running outside the door, not knowing if somebody was pulling out a pew-pew, running to a fight. So you could just imagine what kind of trouble her mama was and what she saw for the reaction and how they were acting on that episode. But that's her mom right there, guys.
With you. This is probably in her grandmama's shoebox. It's probably in her grandmama's house under the baking grease or whatever. It's in the kitchen. It's in the living room. Check her mom or dad's living room.
But as someone who is degreed and licensed in the mental health field, I cannot in good faith sit back and watch y'all continue to gaslight people by saying things like, well, if Dr. Dre did it, she can do it too. Because it's almost like y'all don't believe that the rest of the world has the ability to think critically. Dr. Dre is not using the term doctor to provide a service that he is not qualified to provide to people. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, by her own admission, is clinging on to the title of doctor so tightly because she believes that that proves that she is qualified to be doing what she is doing. And she is actually not, because we have not seen any proof that she is. I don't think anybody gives a damn if she want to call herself Dr. Seuss. What people who are trained and qualified to do the work are saying is that she should not be doing what she is doing, and using the title doctor to further her career is misleading.
Owns the name Dr. Bryant. That means that if someone else wants to use the name Dr. Bryant in connection with life coaching services, motivational speaking services, she can stop them.
That's a character name. I could say that I'm Dr. Sasha Fierce, and I could say that's just my second personality that I like to use when I'm feeling energy when I dance on the floor. Just because she copyrighted her name doesn't make her a doctor. This lady is an attorney, they say, and she should be mindful of the words coming out of her mouth, really.
Owns that name in connection with her brand and the services she provides. Dr. Dre is not a real doctor. Dr. Pepper wasn't created by a real doctor.
And none of the people involved are trying to provide services that they are not qualified to provide. Mind you, she has never claimed that she is a doctor of life coaching. That's not even the services. Right. That's not what she's saying her doctoral degree is in. And that's the problem. Mind you, she could just go and get licensed. She could do what everybody else did, sit for the licensing exam and provide the services she claims to provide legally. I also want to say that
she can't, because did she even finish school? Because now I'm questioning, did she even finish school? Like, come on, girl.
The person that made that video is a lawyer. So you're willing to put your credibility on the line to defend a bunch of tomfoolery? Y'all tripping. I don't know if she got y'all on payroll. I don't know. Y'all tripping.
And I'm going to show y'all a video of her showing you something that's not safe to take into consideration while you're in a dating phase and could promote DV. When she speaks on how somebody should love her.
This. Do not love me like that. Literally. and figuratively. Love me like this. Up close.
Doc on demon time.
Call demon time. See this what this dark do. This what the dark do.
It didn't take long.
Love me up close. But I want you to finish your question because healthy people.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
In it, you don't even know what you're saying.
So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.